What's up, Huskies, and welcome to episode 5 of the BluePrint Breakdown. In this episode, we're going to take a look at issue 4 and more. First, we're here with Isaiah Macker. He's one of our staff reporters. Isaiah, what was your newest story?
So my story was about Black History Month at Hagerty and the Oviedo community as a whole. So I talked about a lot of the Black history of Oviedo that people might not know. People like Boston Butler, who Boston Hill Park's named after, things like that you can see now.
And how did you learn about that history?
I went to the Seminole County History Museum, so it's not a big museum, it's like an old little house thing, but they have a bunch of documents you can look through. I looked at old Oviedo newspapers, things like that.
And what was the most interesting piece of history you say you learned?
This wasn't related to Black history specifically, but the old Oviedo bank, someone robbed it and they used a bomb and they blew the wall off. So
Here with Ellie and Isabella. What were the two topics that y'all were talking about?
So my story was about how social media, I feel like, can oftentimes lead young people to buy more stuff than they need, and how they can be influenced to feel like they have to buy a ton of stuff that they don't actually need.
And then I was focusing on the tendency of young kids, like high schoolers, to buy stuff that they see influencers promoting, and just a little bit of background information on how big businesses are paying these high-profile influencers to promote products.
What were some of the more interesting statistics or things that you heard about people that are buying things that are getting promoted?
I would say I learned a lot about how I think it's over 60% of people have reported buying something just because they saw a social media post. And another interesting one was 50% of people that went on a TikTok live ended up buying something afterwards. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I think the most interesting thing that I found out was that there's a lot of different platforms you can buy influencer sponsored products from, not just Instagram or TikTok. There's Facebook Marketplace, there's apps like LTK where influencers tag their products and the prices. And so I just think I learned a lot about different businesses that you can find straight off social media.
And how was the process of combining the two stories for the issue?
I feel like it flowed pretty easily because I had a part of my story where I talked about influencers, so I feel like it was easy combining how I talked about buying stuff on social media, and then you talked about how influencers can persuade people to buy.
Yeah, I think it was fun because our stories were different enough, but also so similar that we could kind of just cover a broad range of topics.
Next, we're here with Kayla. She's our sports editor. Kayla, what was your latest story?
I just did an MLB alumni story on the 5 Hagerty alumni that are now in Major League Baseball.
What was the process of interviewing those people like?
So I had to talk to the baseball coach, and I pretty much just explained what I was doing and then was how can I get in contact with them, and they work out here in the off season, so I got to just go out to the baseball field and interview them.
What were some of the more interesting things you learned about them?
They all mentioned their former head coach, who was the head coach when they played here, and they all mentioned that he was a really big attribute to their success in the big leagues, and that it's a game of failure and to keep going.
That's all for now, but tune in next time for another exclusive look behind the scenes of our publication.